Welcome back to the Knock-On Effect, the rugby show where we say what the pundits won't. Despite a red card in the 25th minute, Munster hung on for a really important win against Connacht. But I didn't realise how salty this match would be. Let's get stuck in. As far as a pair of matches go, the home and away fixtures against Connacht this season have been cracking matches. I have a great time for the Connacht team, the fans, etc, but there was a noticeable edge to this match which really took me by surprise. The two sets of players were at each other's throats numerous times throughout the 80 minutes. I'm sure the red card had a good bit to do with that, but we'll get on to that. First and foremost, McHale Park was packed. Both sets of fans made it out in force, and it really showed on the broadcast. I thought Munster did a great job in getting an early grip on the game, dictating the play and dampening the crowd. Much like the home fixture, we were treated to some early tries from Tom Ahern, Sean Jansen and Craig Casey. Ahern's try in particular was the pick of the bunch, barrelling his way over Mac Hansen and subsequently the try line. Jack Crowley did his best to tame the vicious winds, to knock over some penalties, and it looked like we were in some really expansive rugby. Up steps Alex Nankivell. Now I'm a big fan of the inside centre, but I don't think any fans would have been surprised to see him at the centre of more controversy. Upon attempting to clear out Cian Prendergast, his wrap was questionable, and ultimately it led to the Connacht captain leaving the pitch in a stretcher. No one, including Nankivell, would have wanted that. But this part of his game needs some real work. He can be very erratic at times, and his discipline lets him down. As far as the incident goes, I think it was a flip of a coin. I can see how many thought the red was harsh given the angles weren't the best, but when I saw it in real time, I immediately had a flashback of the semi-final versus Glasgow last year. It was an incredibly similar clear out, and the exact same outcome, so you can't fault the consistency in officiating. Let us know how you saw it, but for me, as unfortunate as it was, I think the ref got it right. A red card is always going to disrupt the flow of the match. However, Jamie Heaslip made a good point. A unification of the rule sets is desperately required. If we're going to see a 20-minute red card and bunker system applied at the highest levels of European rugby throughout the Six Nations, it really should be applied in all the different leagues too. Munster did well, however, once again to tame Connacht when they had momentum, even racking up a few more points before half-time. The first half was all Munster on the front foot. The internationals returning really bolstered the squad that we saw put up a valiant effort against the Warriors last week. In particular, the returns of Craig Casey and Jack Crowley were incredibly noticeable and added a real clinical edge to the Munster attack. The second 40 minutes, however, saw Connacht run Munster close. Caelan Blade's try just after the break began their fight back. It was this moment that really surprised me. I don't know if the animosity on the day was entirely directed at the Connacht 9, but there were some really salty moments in this match, and he seemed to be involved in most of them. Like I said, I've great time for Connacht, so this really blindsided me. This was a really important match in the run-in for the top 8 spots, so I'm sure that added to it as well. Crowley, Jansen again, Barron and Duani all crossed the whitewash, leaving us at the edge of our seats leading into the last couple of phases. Connacht's winning try was called back for Bundyaki's clear out of Gavin Coombs. I haven't been a big fan of the decision to remove the croc roll from the game. I understand that the game is moving forward in terms of player safety, and I don't want to come across as someone stuck in the past. Back in my day, you could rake a player lying on the wrong side of a ruck. Something this game would have benefited from actually. But at times, it just feels like the players have no choice in certain situations. Clearing out a ruck is next to impossible nowadays, and I felt for Bundyaki here and Connacht in that moment. Fortunately, Coombs came out of the potentially dangerous clear out in a lot better shape than Cian Prendergast did. After the play was called back and the try was disallowed, the writing was on the wall. Munster controlled the possession and kicked the ball into the crowds at McHale Park, securing a really important bonus point win. All in all, from a Munster perspective, it was a good win, but it comes at a cost. Nankivell will likely miss the Champions Cup tie against La Rochelle. We really could have used him there. We'll cross our fingers that another of our many injured wingers comes back and Sean O'Brien will step into the centre, but let's be honest, it's not ideal. The win sees Munster sitting in 5th place in the table. If things stay roughly how they are, we could see Munster versus the Sharks in the knockout stages. Given the Sharks' underwhelming performance against a heavily rotated Leinster team over the weekend, could Munster upset another South African team in the knockout stages of the URC? O'Mahony's final run against Sia Khaleesi? What a match that would be. Connacht, however, find themselves dropping well outside the top 8 in 13th place. It's testament to how close the URC is this year that only 9 points separate 5th place from 14th. I heard a mad stat the other day. It's only mathematically possible for one team not to qualify for the knockout stages. Let that soak in. This was a fantastic matchup in what is undoubtedly the best rugby league in Europe. There is only a few weeks left before we hit the knockout stages, and I can't wait. As always, cheers for watching. Catch you at the next one.